Welcome back, everybody, to the Steve and Bobby Show. This is segment 3. We are going. We got a lot of things going on this week, and we talked a little bit about it in the first 2 segments with the William Barr contempt of Congress, right, and
all
Michael
things that
Cohen
this administration has done to get everybody into what they go,
right,
all the way down to the beating the dead horse of our Mueller report. Right?
Okay, yeah. So I kind of want to talk about this, and I realize when I get into this may not be in favor. People are going to have objections to this within our Democratic base, but you know what? I give you we give opinions here. This is what we do in this show, and what I'm about to say, some of y'all ain't gonna probably like it, but I'm gonna be honest, and it's an opinion of how I feel. Okay, so I kind of want to talk about there's a certain segment of Democrats that were in New York, and there's going to be a reason of this, and you're going to see where I'm going with this, called the Independent Democratic Conference. You guys can go look it up. These were a set of congressmen. There were 9 different congressmen in the state of New York who campaigned as Democrats. They went out. Some of them were campaigning as hardcore, progressives, liberals. Their names were Jeffrey D. Klein, which was the leader of the House at the time, actually, for the state of New York. We had Senator Marcel Alcantara, Tony Avala, David Carlucci, Jesse Hamilton, Jose Paltera, Diane Savano, David Valesky, and I think it's Simca Felder.
You were calling people out by name.
I'm calling by name. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
Because these were the 9. Actually, of those 9, only I think 7 of them did not win re-election.
Okay.
Okay. But what it is these were a group of Democrats that campaigned as progressives. Okay. And once they went to Albany, New York, which is the capital of New York, which is where all the business gets done, they legislated as Republicans.
Alongside with Republicans.
Alongside Republicans. Okay.
They worked with them, and yeah.
Okay, and I kind of want to, we have a video. This is Professor, her name is Zyfer Techko. I guess you can pronounce that way. She's an NYU professor. She's an activist. You see her around. You'll see her when you see her. You'll recognize her if you're progressive. Let her explain to you who these particular Democrats are. Go ahead.
I'm going to talk to you about something that, if you don't know about already, should really upset you. You probably think of New York as a Democratic state. We're a blue state. We stand up against Trump. We stand for democratic values. Not quite. That's because there are 9 state senators who are elected as Democrats in overwhelmingly Democratic districts, who, when they go to Albany, don't work with the Democrats, but work with the Republicans to block Democratic legislation. 8 of these 9 elected Democrats have formed a club they call the IDC, or Independent Democratic Conference. It's kind of Orwellian because they're not democratic. And one of them is Simca Felder. He kind of works on his own and he works with Republicans. But collectively, we have then 9 Democrats, elected as Democrats, who are not caucusing with the Democrats. They benefit because they get more power, more perks, more staff because of choosing to work with the Republicans. And what that means is that Republicans control the New York State Senate. It's like they're wearing the D shirt when they're in district and the R shirt when they're in Albany. Oh, and by the way, when they come back to their district, hold a town hall, they say, I'm a Democrat. Then they go back to Albany, they work with the Republicans. It is so outrageous what is happening, and especially outrageous given what is happening on the national level with Donald Trump.
So why do I bring that up?
You tell me. You're trying to say politicians are two-faced or what?
Well, I'm not saying politicians are two-faced. This is because I get, I'm a progressive. I have, I can lean centrist on some issues, but I really find it troubling when we have elected officials that we elect, okay? And you're out there and you're campaigning and you're saying, hey, I'm a Democrat, I believe in progressive ideals. This is how I feel about progressive, the progressive movement, the democratic movement, the liberal movement, whatever it is in your district that's popular, and how you got voted into office. But when you go to office, that's not what you're doing. And I have a problem with that. And I'm gonna give you an example. William Barr confirmation, there were actually 3 Democrats that voted for his confirmation. Okay, we're talking about William Barr. William Barr is the same, our Attorney General now, which is the one we talked in our other segment, who is basically let everybody go in the Iran-Contra scandal. Just gave a pink slip for everybody. You good, y'all good. Okay, this same William Barr, we have Democrats that voted for him, his confirmation, which was Doug Jones in Alabama. That one I can kind of understand because he's in Alabama. And Doug Jones, to be honest, I know there was a lot of, oh yeah, we took a victory lap with him. That guy is he's centrist to right. He has to be. It's Alabama. I get it. Christian Sinema of Arizona, of course. Arizona's a big red state. I get that part. But you're going to notice a name. Joe Manchin of West Virginia voted for him. Okay, William Barr. Kavanaugh's confirmation, there was one Democrat that voted for Kavanaugh. We had a Democrat, we're talking about the same Kavanaugh, where females came up, said there had some issues, he had some female issues, which is like one of our main priorities as a Democrat. Joe Manchin, West Virginia again. Steve Mnuchin for Treasury Secretary, right? This is a multi-billionaire, rich guy, another Joe Manchin of West Virginia. Ben Carson, the one that said that slave ships, what did Ben Carson say? That when slaves came over, they didn't have the right working conditions because, and they worked really hard and got themselves freed, or whatever usage of word he used, because Ben Carson, he's a great brain surgeon, but when it comes to history, he's not very, very versed. Okay. So we had Sherrod Brown of Ohio, Joe Donnelly of Indiana, Heidi Camp of North Dakota, and Joe Mnuchin. Again, Manchin. Again, West Virginia. So when you look at what we just showed you, the video of Democrats that seem to lean to the, who claim that they're left, but in reality they're voting to the right. This is a problem.
So it's a problem when you are treating the democracy and what we have in place as a game, right?
Okay.
That's the issue. I say. So
Okay.
we have to be very careful of doing that. Just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you always vote with Republicans.
No.
Just because a Democrat, you don't always vote with Democrats, right? I mean, bipartisanship is what we need in a lot of the things that's happening. I mean, the parties today, our environment today is so partisan,
Okay.
right? So polarized in that effect that it's not about meeting in the middle. It's about doing what's right by our community and our country. But when you go up there as a Democrat, like what she made mention of, they're not caucusing with Democrats, they're caucusing with Republicans. So meaning that they're going in but not talking and working with the Democrats, but working only with Republicans, not coming back and bringing it back to Democrats. Well then, they're that person is pretending loyalty to one and giving it to the other. And that's a problem that we have. People, you go out and campaign. You politicians go out and campaign, or they come to your house, you as a constituent, and then when they tell you something, they need to fight for that. If they say they're going to do it, they're going to go for that, right? It doesn't mean that they won't work with the other side. No, it means that's what they're going for. So if these people are passing policies that aren't in tune with what they were campaigning on, then that's a problem.
Well, I actually think it's a problem all the way around. And we can't have politicians that are putting one stripe on and then doing something else.
Right. That's not working with the other.
That's not.
But it's 435 people, or it's 50 people, whatever it is. Like city council might be 7 people to 9 people or 13 people. You got to work with the rest of them. You have to work with the rest of them, and you need to stand by your ideals. That's why you got elected. You stand on what you're standing on, but you still got to work with them.
So I'm going to bring something else in. So I'm going to throw a curveball on you.
Throw it.
All right. So we have Nancy Pelosi, and we have her, who is, in my opinion, kind of tiptoeing with this whole Mueller report and this whole situation, and I find that problematic. Okay, personally, that's just my opinion. Okay. Remember I told you when we first started this, I explained that there were some things that I didn't like about Nancy Pelosi, and there was other things that she impressed me on. Right. There were a number of things actually that she impressed me on. Her candor and her the clap. Remember the clap?
Yes.
Oh, that was beautiful. But it's things when we're talking about Donald Trump and his obvious obstruction of the Mueller report and not wanting to work with Congress, which is, by the way, Congress is, when it comes to power, they're right? There's three branches of government: the judicial, right, the executive, and the legislative, right?
Right.
They're all equal in power, supposedly. Just they're in equal
Separate
power,
branches.
different
Right.
separate branches. And you can't have one branch just saying, you know what, I'm not going to give you anything that's required to do your investigation.
Correct.
When we have leaders, when we have political leaders that we put into office, Nancy Pelosi is from San Francisco.
Bay
Okay,
Area.
she's from the Bay Area. That's where she's from.
Right.
I can tell you that her constituency wants impeachment.
Oh yeah.
So why ain't she doing it?
Right. Right. Let's say the same thing, Nancy. Why aren't you doing it?
Why?
Well, I mean,
why is he not being
From the
impeached?
very beginning, you've been working on, and the leadership in the House has been working on this investigation, wanting the investigation to come through, wanting to pull to the light what has been pulled to light, and we are trying to pull even more. Why, if we're not going to move forward with impeachment?
Yeah, I
Why?
agree. Well, I don't understand.
I mean, that fight has been there. Were you all along thinking that it wasn't going to come to light and not do anything with it? I mean, what is going on here, right?
I don't understand
So I mean, it's there right in front of us. And if you feel that you need more evidence, then you do an impeachment. You do the impeachment inquiry. Once you do that, guess what happens? Yeah. You have the right to go after taxes. You have the right to go after all those things.
You need to repeat what you said. They need to do an impeachment inquiry.
Right.
And there's a difference between an impeachment and an impeachment inquiry. You know they're different.
Right.
I know you know, but they're different. So when you impeach someone, you're basically saying that you're going after the president.
The process has started in
president. You can actually impeach anybody, judges, attorney generals, or whatever, because you think they're guilty for something. But an impeachment inquiry will give you pretty much the same thing an impeachment would. When you're trying, see, you don't have to tiptoe. Nancy Pelosi could just say, I want to do an impeachment inquiry. Just what you just said.
And to me, that is tiptoeing.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, you're kind of backing off and say, I don't know, because look, what's been wrong with politics and politicians, and there's a lot of things wrong with the system that we have set up, right? We talked about money in politics and everything.
Yeah.
But is the mere fact of wanting to get reelected,
Yeah.
and the things that you tiptoe around because you're trying to get elected, right? That is very, very, that can become something very dangerous. So in this particular case, she said it, like if we impeach, if we do this, then it strengthens his base, and we can't have him in the. Look, if you're going to impeach, you're doing it because you're going to find him, you're going to impeach him, or you're going to find something that he'll resign, or your accusations are true.
Right.
So do it. Right?
Yes, 100%.
So do it and let it work. Because if you don't have faith in that effort, then you should never have started in the first place.
Yeah. And this is the problem I have. And I put the IDC in there, which because that's basically what those guys were doing. They were campaigning as one thing and doing the other. Now, do I think Nancy Pelosi is no, I don't think that. I think she's just careful, but it looks from the outside looking in, that's what it looks like.
Well, I mean, we're running out of time.
We're running out of time
because by the time you decide to do these things, yes, it will strengthen the base during the investigation period because you saw how they said it was a witch hunt. We've seen the results of what they called a witch hunt. Now those things now become debatable, right? People are coming right after just vocabulary and not the real thing.
Right.
But the general public, and I believe in you, those viewers, and everyone you live with, can generally see through all that and know what's really going on. Now everyone is being upset by politicians. Everyone is getting upset at losing faith in the system that we have because of a lot of things that are broken.
Yep.
People see through that. So if you start the impeachment inquiry now and you get that evidence out there, you put whatever you can in light. Now everyone will see it before it's time to run for office and actually elect somebody before that day happens. Then these folks won't be voting his way.
Yeah.
But if the longer you wait, then all that stuff is questionable. The base will still be strong.
Yep. I agree 100%. I mean, that's just where we need to be.
Some people think the Mueller report strengthened his base. I really think it weakened it.
It weakened, and
it made those ones that were really hard behind that you can't change anyways. You made them stronger. But there's a huge base of them went, oh my gosh.
And here's the thing too, and I was talking about this off air, was, you know, we're in a partisan time right now. It's probably one of the most partisan times in our country's history, left and right. But I think the way it was explained to me was that there's 20%, about 20% of the voter mass. There's a lot of people that say they're independent, they're Republican, or they're Democrat. But in reality, there's about 20% of actual American voters that they go to work, they come home, watch their Game of Thrones or watch their Scandal, watch their TV shows, right? Listen a little bit on TV and then go to bed. There's people that don't follow politics like me and you do. There's people that don't see the ins and outs of what's going on. They just hear it, you know, by someone else or whatever the situation may be. Those are the people that need to, you know, because if something at this magnitude were to come out and we were to see some of the things that were in that Mueller report, that, by the way, does not exonerate Donald Trump, like William Barr said, that
I think most of the people watching know that.
Most people. Those are the ones that need to see it. And all we need to convince of those 20% is 3% of those. That's all you need. If the vote ends up like it did in 2016. Or if it ended up like that.
And I think it's going to be a lot more energized this time around. I mean, like in our district, you've seen the conservative or the Republican, those with the R, switch from 40, I think it was 45% in 2017 down to today, which is 39%. And it's not that they switched over to Democrats. They didn't put a D next to them. What they did was turn to no party preference. And so we're seeing these folks get very, very irritated with the process that's there now. It has become a media circus. It is bad, and it's it is on all sides, but we know where it really comes from. Right? And the lack of respect that people have now for the executive leadership position, the media circus that has come for the senior leadership in Congress in the past and the present, things need to change, and they need to change now.
Well, that is what we got for y'all today. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Do we got it right? Do we got it wrong? Who knows? You know,
Voice up. Let us know.
Let us know.
Comment right down there below, okay?
Please.
At least hit like, huh? Share the page.
Let us know what you guys think. Are we on the right track? Are we on the wrong track? Tell us. Maybe there's something that you guys can view that we're not viewing, or something we're not seeing. Let us know. This is an opinion show. We have our opinions, but we like to hear other people's opinions also. So anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching the Steve and Bobby Show. Thanks so much for watching us on the Mad Talk TV show studios here, filmed in the central part of California, home of the Rock Bombers and Shock Collars. Anyway, thanks. I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned next time.